The title suggests many things. The important issue is the world revolves around business, society, organizations, individuals, and even religion survives and thrives because of business. Business has to encompass not just financial commodity and service transactions. It has also to include welfare, justice, empowerment, environmental, and other issues too. Every week, Business Matters will delve into aspects of business that impact our lives. We will seek out extraordinary and ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. Facilitators, educators, and entrepreneurs who will be invited to inspire and enlighten our listeners. Join Anwar Moolla for an interactive show and find out what really matters in business.
نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome to another Business Matters program. You with me, Anwar Moolla, and I'm going to be with you till 8 o'clock, and we're going to be talking finance tonight. So it's the Business Matters program. The Business Matters program brought to you by the Minara Chamber of Commerce. I'm joined tonight online by the regional head of business banking KZN for Standard Bank, and her name is Fikile Msiza. Fikile, good evening and welcome to Radio Al Ansar.
Good evening and good evening to your listeners. Thank you for having us.
Fikile, we're talking about funding tonight, and our topic is bridging the funding gap. Nobody better than you to speak to, being the regional head of business banking KZN. So let's just start by introducing yourself. How long have you been in your role, and give us a little bit about your background.
All right, so my name is Fikile Msiza. I joined this role in October of 2024. So I was actually based in Joburg doing various roles across business and private banking. And I moved to Durban in October 2024. So I've been here for just over a year and a half now. I look after the business banking clients and colleagues. So from the growth segment right up to premium, so that's 10 million, turnover 10 million above, up to 300 million.
Okay, excellent. Have you been a Durban girl all your life, or are you born and bred in Johannesburg?
I'm actually born and bred in Cape Town. And then I did my varsity studies in Johannesburg and started my career out there in Joburg. So I worked for about 10 years in Johannesburg, and now I am in KZN. So I'm a bit of a traveler. I go all over.
And if I may ask, how do you find life in KZN compared to Johannesburg and Cape Town?
So I'm really enjoying myself in KZN. People here are so friendly, very open, very accommodating. There's also so much opportunity here. So there's so much to do compared to, Joburg is very busy. It's always on the go, go, go. So it can get a little bit cold, not just the weather. And yeah, so that's the difference. I'm really, really enjoying myself here in KZN.
Excellent. Good having you in KZN. Generally, there's a brain drain away from our province to either Johannesburg or Cape Town. Most of the big corporates being based in Johannesburg or Cape Town. So it's lovely to see some of the brain come our way and away from those bigger centers, so to speak. Fikile, tonight we're talking about bridging the funding gap, what financial institutes require, and how financial inclusion is changing access to capital. So let's start by asking you, what does the term funding gap mean, and why is it still one of the biggest challenges facing entrepreneurs and small businesses in South Africa?
Yeah, so the funding gap refers to the difference between capital that small businesses need to start and grow and sustain their operations versus what they actually have access to. And this is a challenge for South Africans because many entrepreneurs, especially in the startup and the informal businesses, have limited collateral, they have short trading histories, or they have insufficient funding records. So it makes it very difficult for these type of entities to meet the traditional lending requirements, right? But funding is only one part of the equation. Many businesses still need support from a financial management perspective, market access, digital tools, and business development. And at Standard Bank, we believe in looking beyond just the finance by providing the tailored business banking solutions, the advice, and the partnership to help entrepreneurs build a sustainable business. Closing the funding gap is not just about putting or making more money available. It's creating an ecosystem that enables small businesses to become investment ready and to succeed in the long term.
Okay. What are the key requirements financial institutions look for when assessing a business or entrepreneur for funding? Remembering that in terms of South Africa at the moment, and you kind of alluded to it, our informal economy is very large. That is, we can see that by the fact that the taxpayer base, I mean, there's about, I think, officially unemployment of almost 35%. So, I mean, it's very difficult, I would think, for people like yourself to assess a kind of a good entrepreneur. So, what are some of these requirements that you look for?
Yeah, and to your point, we need to do so responsibly, right? So we're looking for a combination of the business ability to repay the funding as well as potential for sustainable growth. So some of the things we're looking for is a clear and viable business model, accurate financial records, and showcasing a healthy future cash flow, as well as a well thought out business plan. So what we look at is the track record, we look at the credit profile, we look at your industry experience and the overall ability to manage the business effectively. So another important part to the business banking history is how you manage your day-to-day financial obligations. So consistency is really important, and good financial discipline, transparency goes a very long way in showcasing the confidence to us.
So, taking on from what you've just said, is you're looking for consistency, you're looking for a track record. But for a startup, they don't have the track record. They have the ideas, but they don't have the track record. And therein it hinders a lot of good ideas from really becoming to fruition. So, how would you look at startups?
Yeah, so I think we offer a lot of development programs and networking opportunities. So those development programs help you also from a mentorship perspective and a development perspective, help you understand financial management so that you can start to create that track record. And my advice to entrepreneurs is to utilize those tools around them so that you can start to create that. It doesn't take very long. But with what you have, creating that trading history and creating that credit profile will then start to get you on track to being able to be visible to those markets.
Taking on that is why would many funding applications be declined?
Yeah, important question. So some of the reasoning there is it would be incomplete financial records or insufficient cash flow or a lack of a clear business plan. Like we alluded to, the limited trading history or the underdeveloped credit profile. So should you receive a decline, it's not the end of the road, right? It's an opportunity to strengthen those areas. So how do we help you creating a clear record keeping, proper cash flow management, creating that credit history? And like I alluded to, those business development plans and those mentorship programs, the platforms that we have, help entrepreneurs to be able to create those things.
Many a small business would find approaching a bank like Standard Bank quite daunting, thinking that Standard Bank is only wanting to reach out to the high net worth businesses and high net worth individuals. Your advice to people like this who are starting out but are actually, I would say, shy to approach a bank like yourselves?
Yeah, no, and I can appreciate that. So we've created a lot of development programs specifically for the SME market. So the startups, we're currently in some of the township areas, creating those development programs, creating places for people to come together to showcase their business, to do the networking. We also have a lot of stuff online. If you go to our website, you'll see our development programs. You'll see we have the Top Women Conference. You'll see we have the Export Showcase. So there's a lot of things available. Coming into the branch, chatting to the bankers, coming into the offices, as well as online, but also in your spaces. We have some of the largest footprint in local and rural areas. So those places are visible to help entrepreneurs to get started.
And what practical steps can startups and informal businesses take to become funding ready before approaching a bank like yourself?
Um, Practical steps. Yeah, so I think first of all, have a proper plan. Put together that proper business plan. What is your vision for your business? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Who are the industry experts that you need to know? Who are the people that you need to engage? Who are your clients? Understand who the clients that you're trying to target. So if you have a proper vision and a plan and a goal, then we're able to work together to see where can we plug in place. What are some of the things that you need to do to create the track record? Or are you in the right spaces? And we have that information available.
Okay. On that note, financial inclusion has become a major focus globally. How is technology, including digital banking and fintech, changing access to capital for previously underserved communities?
Sure, a lot. It's definitely made it more accessible. It's made it more faster. It's made it more convenient. Managing finances more efficiently. It's helping entrepreneurs and people that previously wouldn't have had access to certain tools to manage their finances efficiently, maintain better records, access services that they previously wouldn't have had. It also helps create a digital footprint, right? So these digital platforms now give you an opportunity to create a digital footprint to understand what is your actual financial picture. It gives a clearer financial picture. The fintechs are also moving and shaking the industry. So they're making more innovative solutions, they're simplifying payments, they're simplifying cash flow management, and also helping ourselves as well as clients track that financial movement a lot better.
Okay. From a perspective of Radio Al Ansar and its listeners, most, if not all, would be looking for Sharia based financing. I know Standard Bank is very active in the Sharia space to the extent where you actually even sponsor the Minara awards dinner, which takes place in October, November each year. So, in any of these lending platforms, would it all be, or would there be a Sharia based alternative that you could suggest or you would be able to look at?
Yes, yes. So we do have some credit lending facilities that are already Sharia compliant. And so obviously some of the products are still in development. We recently just launched our floor plan. So we do have the traditional overdraft, the commercial asset finance, the commercial property finance that is now Sharia compliant as well. And then we're also getting a little bit more innovative to create a better opportunity for everybody to participate in getting the funding that they need.
And away from the bank, what role do you think alternative funding solutions such as crowdfunding, venture capital, angel investors, and development finance institutions play alongside traditional banks like yourself?
Yeah, so the angel investors and the venture capital firms are often more willing to invest in the high growth businesses, right? So those businesses that have the innovative ideas, the strong scaling potential, even the businesses that have a limited trading history. So that's really great for those kind of businesses. And then crowdfunding, which I also appreciate, can help entrepreneurs raise capital, but it also helps validate the demand for their products, right? The more crowdfunding that you're able to get, it showcases that people are more interested in your products and your services. And then the development finance institutions play an important role in supporting businesses that may not necessarily meet all the requirements for the conventional funding, but have a strong potential. So all of these play a role together. Different needs for different require different funding strategies. So what businesses or entrepreneurs need to do is just establish what works best for them, but also speak to your banker because that advice cuts across, right? To understand what is the best stage in your business and what is the best financing for that specific stage.
The other big role players in financing are the what I would term the kind of so-called in inverted commas the loan sharks. Um, they sometimes are turned to because of the fact that other institutions are not willing to lend at
Mhm.
exorbitant interest rates most of the time. What type of role do they play in terms of financing?
Yeah, look, like you said, it's exorbitant and often irresponsible. So a lot of the times when we say no or not right now, it is because it's for the protection of the business. We have to be guard against reckless lending, and sometimes these players make it very difficult because they're very tempting for people. But then you land yourself in trouble, be it to repay with these high interest rates or the terms or whatever the cost may be. So we just need to be very vigilant and be very careful and stay close to your banker. Your banker is your financial doctor, and get the advice specifically from your banker so they're able to help you understand what funding model works best for you.
Turning to women-owned businesses, youth enterprises, township enterprises, these often face additional barriers. What initiatives are helping to improve access to finance for these groups?
Yeah, so we recently hosted a networking and development program in Umlazi, where we allowed businesses to come together, hear some advice. We had different bankers speaking in terms of what are the things that they can do to improve their businesses, to develop their cash flow, etc. We also have the Top Women Business Program as well, again, for them to come and showcase their businesses. You also can win some funding. We also have the Export Readiness Program with DHL. We have the Top Business Awards coming up, again, to help businesses showcase and acknowledge those businesses that are doing really, really well. And also provide motivation and hope to other business entrepreneurs, as well as the Menara Awards as well. So there's a number of things that we're doing in the different areas. And that's why my advice is that you stay close to online, follow the social media. These programs are being pushed on social media so you can understand what's happening in your local area.
Would a bank like Standard Bank have a certain percentage or certain amount of money set aside specifically for people from the previously disadvantaged communities, specifically knowing that there's a great possibility that many of these businesses will not succeed, but setting aside an amount of funding for these type of businesses more as an encouragement than anything else?
So that does exist. We do have our ESD programs, along with some of the other programs that I had mentioned, with the different funding for the smaller projects where you are starting out. So again, just visit the website. We do have those ESD funding programs as well.
Okay. In the greater scheme of things for business, obviously long-term sustainability being the key word, how important is building a good credit profile, and what advice would you give to entrepreneurs who have little or no credit history?
So it is quite important, and I think it helps us understand how the business manages itself. It helps us understand how the business manages its financial commitments over time. So my advice would be to start a profile as early as possible. Have a dedicated business banking account. So separate the personal from the business account. Have accurate records and pay your commitments on time. That helps you build a proper credit profile. But start as early as possible, and please keep the personal and the business separate, so they have different and separate profiles.
Good advice, I would think. Fikile, we're going to go for a short ad break. And when I come back, perhaps you can share with us some of the success stories that you have encountered with people that have started from literally nothing and where you've taken them to. And then we look at what other support institutions or an institute like Standard Bank would be able to give to people that are starting out in life. So let's go for a short break.
Thank you.
Teaching you something new every day. Radio Ansaar.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience experience. Call 031 306 4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickfield Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust.
There are over 200 million orphans globally. We can't help all of them, but what if we each helped just one? The Al Imdad Foundation now gives you an opportunity to help just one orphan from Syria or Palestine. For just 500 Rand per month, you can help safeguard the dignity of an orphan by assisting them with basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and attention. Our orphan sponsorship program allows you to track the progress of your orphan through regular feedback. Make a difference in the life of an orphan today. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Looking for an unforgettable getaway that won't break the bank? Explore the bustling bazaars of Istanbul, uncover the ancient wonders of Egypt, or unwind on the pristine beaches of Mauritius. Experience the vibrant culture of India, or escape to the turquoise waters and golden sands of Zanzibar. Affordable adventures, endless experiences. Your next escape is just a click away. Call 031 208 4222 or visit www.miragetravel.co.za. Show Mirage Travel, where your dream journey begins.
Radio Ansaar, Durban, 90.4 FM. Pietermaritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Business Matters.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you've just joined us, you on the Business Matters program. The Business Matters brought to you by the Minara Chamber of Commerce. You with me, Anwar Moolla, and I've been speaking and interviewing Fikile Msiza. She's the regional head of business banking for Standard Bank KZN. Very, very informative person who's given up the glamour of Johannesburg and Cape Town to head to poor old Durban, but enjoying it, as she says. So Fikile, share with us some of your success stories for your clients at at Standard Bank, just as a motivation for our listeners out there.
Yeah, so if I think of some of the clients that I've met, one of them that stands out is the client that I met last year, the Top Woman Business Awards. She sells chicken eggs and she has a smaller chicken farm. And she was able to come up and present her business. And through presenting her businesses, she met a couple of clients, potential clients in the room. So she was able to increase her client network. She has now increased her sales, increased the number of clients, and also she acquired a property where she is now selling or has more chickens as a result of the showcasing that she did. She did win some money from us, but I think more importantly, she got to network at this event that we had. Another person that we had met, she does catering. And she also came up, showcased her business, and met a couple of clients at our Top Women Business Awards. So in as much as we are a financial institution, we also provide opportunity for businesses to come and showcase their businesses, tell us what they do, meet other people, get some development. They got some bankers there as well, and they're able to grow their businesses now. So I was really proud of her in terms of her acquiring the extra land because the demand just increased.
I think one of the new trends is what we term the pop-ups, and this has become many people are now making a living purely out of these pop-ups. And I mean, it's encouraging to see people, it's hard work making the efforts, especially in the food space. But coming up with innovative ideas, new kind of recipes, new food products, and showcasing them every weekend at some of these pop-ups. I was at the House and Garden show the other night, and again encouraged to see so many people that are kind of making the effort and being rewarded for the efforts that they're making. Where would the financing model come in for people like this who kind of in the pop-up space, so to speak?
So they would also have a track record, right? Or would need to build up a track record. We're not referring to the one time, right? It's just not an everyday of the week kind of thing. So those institutions or those businesses also need banking facilities. They also need bankers. They also need the development programs. They also need the advisory solutions. They also need the partnership, which we're able to create. And as the world goes on, and as technology goes on, like you said, these things come up. And we also need to be innovative. We also need to have the rigor to be able to support these businesses. So as we grow, as businesses grow, we grow as well, and we develop our programs, we develop our solutions for these kind of businesses as well.
And what are some of the biggest misconceptions that entrepreneurs have about applying for finance?
Sure. So sometimes entrepreneurs believe having a great business idea is all that's needed, and that isn't. Having a strong idea is important, but we also need to have evidence that the business is viable and sustainable and capable of repaying and effectively utilizing the funding. So you need to be able to showcase what you'll be using the funding for and how it will solve your business challenges. So having a good financial management, having sound governance, having a clear growth strategy, having access to mentorship and business networks, that's also really important beyond just having the really good idea. How will your business grow, and how will you make it grow? How will you make it sustainable? That's also really critical in and a lot of the misconception that businesses have.
And yourself, looking ahead, how do you see financial inclusion evolving over the next 5 years? Besides the fact that we would still love to have you in KZN, and what opportunities should South African entrepreneurs be positioning themselves for?
Yeah, so over the next 5 years, digital innovation, data, partnerships, more tailored financial solutions for small businesses are going to grow. As we've discussed, more people are going to want to enter the market. So these innovations and these partnerships, the advances in technology are going to make it easier for entrepreneurs to access the banking services and manage their finances. It's going to be easier to accept digital payments, apply for funding, regardless of where they are. So I think we're going to see a greater collaboration between banks and the fintechs and the development financial institutions, especially for the women-owned and the youth-owned and the township businesses. This kind of access is going to be a lot easier. So I think in positioning themselves or positioning businesses, it's not just about giving people more access to financing. It's giving access to the tools, the knowledge, the networks, the opportunities to be able to build that sustainable and successful business. And don't underestimate the value of networking and mentorship and visibility.
And you think AI is going to play a large role in all of this going forward?
So I'm not an AI expert, but yes, definitely. I think it will form part of the technological advancements and giving people access to information, better information, faster information as well.
Okay. Fikile, in concluding, if you could leave entrepreneurs and business owners with one key piece of advice to improve their chances of accessing capital and growing successful businesses, what would it be?
Know your business, know your numbers. Know what's going on in your business. Keep your accurate financial records, manage your cash flow effectively, understand your market, and have a clear plan on how this funding is going to help grow your business. Who is your market? How are you going to make it sustainable? Because competition is also going to increase in the different industries as well. So how will you keep up with the changes that are happening? But definitely know your business, know your numbers.
Sagely advice. Thank you so much, Fikile Msiza, Regional Head of Business Banking, Standard Bank KZN. Looking forward to perhaps meeting you at the Minara Chamber Awards later this year. In the meantime, thank you so much for spending your Monday evening with us, giving us sound advice and encouraging people who need funding to reach out to Standard Bank and similar banks, and not basically being scared or shy of approaching the banks for financing.
100%. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the kindness. This is the warmth of KZN that I'm talking about.
Thank you, Fikile. Thank you so much. And with that, have a great evening. And thank you so much for joining us. With that, it's the end of another Business Matters program. Lovely speaking to Fikile Msiza, Regional Head of Business Banking, Standard Bank KZN. Some lovely advice there. The bottom line, banks like Standard Bank have got lots of programs in place to encourage people that are starting out, learnership programs as well. So don't be scared to reach out to these banks. They are there to help you and to provide the banking on a Sharia basis as well, so that you can make a start in your life and get your business up and running. With that, it's wassalamu alaikum from me, Anwar Moolla. Inshallah, join you again next week on another Business Matters program.
Business Matters. The title suggests many things. The important issue is the world revolves around business, society, organizations, individuals, and even religion survives and thrives because of business. Business has to encompass not just financial commodity and service transactions. It has also to include welfare, justice, empowerment, environmental, and other issues too. Every week, Business Matters will delve into aspects of business that impact our lives. We will seek out extraordinary and ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. Facilitators, educators, and entrepreneurs will be invited to inspire and enlighten our listeners. Join Anwar Moolla for an interactive show and find out what